And good evening and welcome to episode 28 of Endless Banter. I'm going to put this gentleman on full screen. Currently, we haven't got Paul in, so we've got a great face. If you haven't seen this face,
where have you been?
Even at an expo, any show that you've ever been to, if you've not seen this gentleman's face, I don't know where you've been. I'd like to introduce, Paul is going to be coming on later, but I would like to introduce Mr. Jatin Taylor, also known as the gentleman from the Expo. He's been the official videographer for the last, 3-4 years, bro?
Just after the first show, we kicked that one off, mate.
Three years then.
Yeah,
and he's also the owner of Cinematic Series, which is the new Juices just launched. So congratulations on your new launch, bro.
Mate, absolute pleasure to be here.
Hello to everybody in chat. It's good to see you all new. And if you'd like to share, guys, make sure you share it out there. Paul will be joining us in about 5-10 minutes. I just got a message saying, Tom, ease yourself, go live, lad. I'll be there in 5 minutes. So he might be finishing up his tea. So we usually start, and this is how we start it, and we always ask Paul, but seeing as Paul's not here, you're filling in tonight, bro.
No problem.
We go, how's your week been? What have you had for tea? What are you drinking? And what are you vaping?
Well, so the week has been absolutely manic. As you know, coming back from match, we've had a end of things to get done. So I was just up in bed yesterday, chilling, relaxing, trying to recover from the weekend and like the 2 hours of sleep a night that we get when we come and do these things. So yeah, it's been a pretty hectic week. In terms of my tea, just finished back end of a doner kebab. So. Typical shit, Tom. I know it's coming. And do you know what? Funnily enough, I'm on some summer fruits juice. Just a little bit of a representation of what kind of juice that we've got as part of our lineup as well. Wicked. And I am vaping some Perspective.
Nice. So we've got Paul in the room. So Mr. P, how are you? And what are you having for tea? What are you drinking? How's your week been so far?
I got a foot roll and fuck all to drink.
Big biscuits for tea. Tash, what's going on, love?
He's had TGOs, don't listen to him.
We went to TGOs this afternoon.
So you're living the good life, having that good dinner. Please tell me you had Jack Daniels ribs.
Oh, mate, them ribs.
I had a sesame chicken.
Oh, let down.
I struggle with the ribs since I've had the ban.
So how's your week been since you got back?
Just I felt more tired today than I felt any day since last Thursday. Today has hit me in the face, mate.
Are you recovering from the Saturday night still? Because I am.
You know what? Without sounding like really badly disgusting, I had 2 shits on Sunday morning. I got back on Sunday night, and I've not had one since. And I had a shit earlier, and it still stung my arse. How's that? Wednesday, mate, we ate on Saturday night. It's absolutely destroyed my insides. That has.
I'm still recovering. I'm not even going to lie, and I think I've been about 26 times since Saturday night.
What did you not eat?
No, it was good. It was just really spicy.
Tom was giving it the big one.
Yeah, well, he told me that.
I'll have whatever you're having, Faz. You order mine. Ask Tom who had to order a glass of milk. Fucking lightweight.
You have a pot of yogurt on the side.
I'm not gonna lie, it was really good food. And it tasted really nice. But as soon as that heat kicked in, it was like none of that. Get me some milk and get me some mint. But it's all right because when Faz is ordering mint sauce, then you know it is hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mate, the fucking mint sauce was hot.
We put chili in everything, mate. Did you get the memo?
Chilies and milk.
I wouldn't go as past it. Like, it wouldn't surprise me. Somewhere in India, there's a guy putting chilies in milk.
So how's the week been then? We got any updates on the Land Rover? Are we all right?
I've had an email off them this evening actually, offering me another £2,500 off the price of the new car compared. They offered me another brand new car with about 16 grand off it, and they've just sent me another email saying they'll take another £2,500 off it.
And did you tell them to stick it?
I actually forwarded it to my MD and just said, "What do you think?" So
give them another week, mate, and they will come back with £4,500 off a new car.
I should just get him to upgrade me to a Range Rover SVR.
Straight up, give me top level. If you don't know what's going on with the Land Rover, Jattin, watch previous episodes, bro, because we've been talking about this for about 24 weeks. So if you need to catch up on what happened and where we're at now, you need to find out. So you need to watch previous episodes. So Paul, Jattin, let's get stuck into this week's show. We're going to get straight into Manchester. I'm going to go for you first, Paul, because I know you absolutely loved it, and I know Jattin sort of loved it, but has got other opinions as well. So I want to know a little bit of rundown. Anybody that didn't go, gives a little bit of a rundown about the show and what you enjoyed about it, and what you think they can improve on, and so forth.
I'll do the negatives first, because actually there's not many of them. The one negative is the facilities at the actual event itself. So parking was ridiculous. Someone, me and you were having a conversation with on Saturday or Sunday, was saying they were turning people away, and I'm not sure how true that is or not. And bearing in mind the footfall was pretty minimal, to turn anyone away from that would have been an absolute piss take. Dale on UK Vape Talk last night, one of his gripes was the fact that you had a shit, you had to fucking sit on the toilet with your legs extended out because you had no locks on the shit house doors, and there was only 3 cubicles for the whole of the event for blokes to have shits. And blatantly, when Manchester put that much chili in the curry, you need 45 cubicles, especially on the Sunday morning when everyone's been out for a curry on the Saturday. The ability to purchase a drink from that place was a fucking joke, and when you did buy one, it was about £2 for a plastic cup of Coke or something like that. That they are more negatives right there, which is actually all based around the venue more so than the event itself. So positives were for me is that I think, and I probably, anyone that watched UK Vape Talk last night, I'm going to sound very repetitive because I said everything that I'm going to say last night again now, which is one, Emil and his team worked their absolute cocks off to push that event prior to it going out there. The lifestyle thing for me worked perfectly well and better than I expected it to work. And I like the fact that you could go outside and get peppered with stones where the drift cars were on, or you could go and watch the skateboarders and potentially have a skateboard at you in the face at 60 miles an hour, or go and have your beard trimmed or waxed and or you'd have a tattoo. And I just really, really liked the thought process that went into that, to be honest. And if you think how vast Vapor Expo is in Birmingham, to have something that breaks that day up can't be a bad thing for me. I loved the vibe in there right from the get-go, right from Thursday when we were setting up. I was walking around thinking this is on point. The right names are in there, the right faces were in there. The layout was not too bad, although I genuinely feel like our corner was a little bit of a dead end. And certainly when if people were walking towards Ace of Vapes from the front of their stand where the counters was, before the graffiti was on the boards, it looked like them black boards were up there just to hide some shit. And I felt like more people walked down past us the other way than went past us from Ace of Vapes. Yeah. So I think and to be fair, mate, you know yourself, we were there for midday on Thursday. It was getting on for 5 o'clock on Thursday before I even realised there was more than just a square that we were in. And I got took around on a little tour by Emil. Actually walked me around and showed me that you got this hall and go through there to the arcades and through there to the skateboarding and back up the other way, back into the bottom of the hall by where Lee and Twitch was. For me, mate, it's one of them things where I don't think you can fault the event or the organisers any way, shape or form. The failure, in my opinion, falls on the vapors who couldn't be bothered to come out. However, I fully appreciate that with a brand new event, people are a bit hesitant both ways. One, whether to vend, and two, whether to even bother going. So Emil done his job by getting the right people in there, by and large. It's basically now it's up to. I think this show has got the foundation to be a top show next year.
Absolutely.
So I mean that's my overall thoughts of Expo. I loved it. I had a wicked weekend. I said last night the only downside for me, as far as the actual thing is that it was the first time I've done one of these completely on my own without Tasha there at all, and I stopped away from home, and I'm a bit like, oh God, she normally just helps me get through the weekend. So yeah, apart from that, I really enjoyed it. I had a wicked. We went out on Saturday. Tom and the rest of our team and Faz from My Liquids went out, and we had a fucking giggle, man. We had a good laugh, and obviously just even in the day, just walking around, and yeah, I loved it. I had a wicked weekend, to be fair. That's
awesome.
Summed up.
It's down to you then, Jack. And what was your vibe of the show? Obviously, as Paul said, he didn't know that there was another room. You was in that other room.
I mean, I can give you two perspectives, really, because obviously we were there filming the show for the official show video and pieces, and then I had my stand as well in room 2. So, I mean, in terms of a vendor and a stand perspective, I would probably say that it needed a bit clearer signage just to let people know that there is more things going on in other rooms. Like, unless you actually took the tour to walk around, you weren't really going to find the skate park. You'd be just stuck in the main hall. And then you'd be lucky if you stumbled upon room 2. Do you know what I mean? So it's just, for me, it was about more clearer signage. And, you know, as you say, that rumor that we heard where people were getting turned away at the doors and like the parking situation, I mean, they're all easy resolves. Do you know what I mean? Like, ideally, the parking could be resolved by just getting a shuttle bus from like the Trafford Centre or like, you know, somewhere where it's easy for people to commute to, just to give a hand and, you know, on that perspective. But as a show in general, I think it was organised very, very well, extremely well, in fact. And I've got to be honest, I had a lot of help on build day as well. You know, they had a few people spare that saw that there was only a team of like 2 of us putting the stand together, and they sent 2 other lads to help us knock the whole thing out. And if it weren't for them, we would have been there till the early hours of the morning. So there were aspects of the show that, you know, I'd thoroughly commend.
I said last night on Vape Talk, I felt the need to go and find Emil on Sunday before I left, just to say congratulations. I know Emil was stressing. I spoke to him lots of times over the weekend. I know he was stressing about not getting a lot of people through the door, but I just felt the need to go up to him and shake his hand and say, well done, mate. You've put on a fucking wicked show, and don't stress. Congratulations. You pulled it off. You've done everything that you needed to do. And I think the good thing for me is I've not seen any vendors actively slating the event, saying "fuck you, load of shit." Bear with me because my parrot's on one. I've not seen any vendors just sort of going in saying this was fucking shit and we didn't take any money and blah 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 and fucking whatever. And that's good, because this event deserves for us lot to back it up, because I know next year this event can be fire.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with the way that I've been working in the industry and the capacity through video, I've had no end of support through vendors, and, you know, I've felt like a vendor walking through exhibitions, even without vending, and just being there to create content for people. So now being able to come into it from a vendor perspective, still getting the same level of support, and, you know, seeing how as an industry, be it that we've all got our own companies and our own objectives, we're all there supporting one another and pushing one another forward. And I think the reason why most vendors are quite happy with the event is that we actually got a chance to go and speak to one another, which we wouldn't normally get at a much busier expo. And, you know, we're able to talk to each other and network in that kind of circle. And I think that was what was one of the major benefits from going and vending, and still having that time to be able to talk to people.
Yeah, I said last night that to me, it was sort of, just bear with me for a second while I fill up this electronic cigarette and then technically don't my mouth. I said last night on Vape Talk that it just seemed, for me personally, it was quite akin to an indoor vape fest, where there was a real vibe in there, and I don't think there was any drama in there, and people were talking, and those that don't talk avoided each other, which is good, man. It's good that people can respect each other enough just to walk past each other, nod heads or do fuck all, and just carry on with their life.
Yeah.
And I think it was probably akin to a vape fest because we weren't flat out busy, and because actually I had time to walk around. I mean, I walked past your stand many times, and I was just walking around and speaking to people and doing and that's I love that part of Expo, and obviously there's people that I see in this industry regularly, and some people that I see in between expos, but there's some people that I will only see at these expo shows. And to
Absolutely.
and normally at Expo in Birmingham, I haven't got an hour to stand and talk to someone, literally, because
You don't get it.
stands just non-stop. We're going non-stop, or we're on stage, or we're doing this, or we're doing that, and I like the fact that actually I sat on the settee talking to Mark Dolan for 3 hours, putting the world to rights without stressing. And then I'd go on a walk, and actually me and Tom had a few walk-arounds, and me and Disco had a few walk-arounds, and I was talking to Dexter and Arthur and the people that I wanted to speak to, and without having to just walk past, shake hands, bam, get on my way. I was, Baz and Dexter were next to each other, so I was talking to both of them at the same time, and genuinely had a wicked weekend. I loved it. Obviously, I drove up there Thursday and drove back. I drove up there Friday and drove back. I drove up there Saturday, drove
You've
back
done some
Sunday.
mileage then?
Fucking knackered, mate. And then Monday, me and Tash and the youngest girl and the oldest girl went shopping because she didn't go back to school until today even. Yesterday, I was back at work. I was on Vape Talk UK till 10 o'clock. Then I watched Dadsy's live feed last night until whatever stupid. I mean, I didn't even know what time I got to sleep last night, probably 1 o'clock. But this morning, I was fucking knackered. And then I had a meeting today in Chesterfield with my MD. So I had to drive up to Chesterfield and have the meeting and then drive back. I'm fucked. I'm fucking
I hope you drive an automatic.
Yeah, it's automatic.
I think for me personally, sort of the negative side of me was that you had the room sort of we were in, and it was booming with the stage and the music and stuff. And then sort of when I went into the second room, it was very quiet. To me personally, there should have been some sort, even if it was a PA system or another stage in there.
Well, what it was, there was music playing in there, but it wasn't synced to the main room that you guys were in, so they weren't getting the same feed. So if there were announcements on stage, you wouldn't hear it in room 2. Yeah. But I mean, again, easy resolve.
Things to change, yeah. As you say, easy resolves. But I think it's, as you say, it's the first show. There's these little sort of things that need to work to just a little bit better if they'd have been done. You know what I mean? It's, you know, we had the stage literally right next to us, and as Paul was saying earlier, like we was right next to Riot Squad, and the van was blocking the way, so you couldn't really see where we were.
Mate, to be honest, the first day I didn't even know where your stand was until you told me, look, we're down there just behind the Riot Squad van. I thought that were a dead end.
And a lot of people did, and as Paul said, I think a lot of people came that way from the stage rather than round the back of the Ace of Bits where sort of the main bit was.
Yeah.
But once again, for me personally, going back to it, I think the vibe was wicked. Maybe because we were in the main room, maybe the vibe wasn't as well received in the second room because the stage wasn't there. There wasn't you know what I mean? There wasn't that sort of intensity with having people hustling, bustling.
Yeah, I mean, I'd definitely say that there was a lot less traction in the second room. And, you know, going around and speaking to vendors that were exhibiting in the second room, they did feel a little bit, maybe let's say, disheartened by it. But we were looking at ways in which to gather the crowds back into room 2. So we spoke to like the host to see what we could do about giving time where we could actually take people that were in front of the stage on a giveaway straight back into room 2 so that they could go in and, you know, speak to vendors in that room. UK Vape Deals did 2 giveaways as well from there. So they looked at, you know, on the second day, ways in which we could get traction and footfall back into that room as well. So they were listening to people feeding back during the show and actioning things in between just to make sure that, you know, we can get people around the show as best possible.
What about on sort of like the filming aspects of things? Obviously, yourself saw it from the vendor's perspective and filming. So how did you see it?
Film-wise, it was brilliant. I mean, being able to film in this industry has been an absolute blessing. You know, working with the team over at Vapor Expo and now working with the team at Vapor Lifestyle, it's just been an absolute blessing. Having opportunities to go and film artists such as Professor Green, you know, the guys had MC Bushkin on it, closing the show at the end as well. And those opportunities don't just come up every day, you know, specifically not for people that are self-taught and, you know, come from a completely different background. Like my background's been sales. So coming into doing video work and, you know, coming into this industry as a complete novice, but building up, you know, the portfolio, the repertoire and the network that I've managed to create, especially in such a short period of time, it's just overwhelming at times. You know, like sometimes we'll go and look back at the footage and I think to myself, did I really shoot that? I was really on that stage. I had that opportunity. And then there's the funny parts to it where it's like my wife is messaging me going, what are you doing on the stage? I saw you do this or I saw you do that. And I'm like, where the hell does she get all this information from? And all she's doing is seeing people's live feeds on Facebook.
Oh, you got the prime example of us doing the onions in May.
Oh, mate, that was immense. I got to dig that up. That needs to come back out. We'll do it in the next few weeks.
I know Paul's got his mind working for October.
I know what I want to do for October. I've just got to pull it off. That's all. I definitely know.
We've got this, but sort of going back to the show and stuff. If you could change anything from the shows, the pair of you, what could you change and what would you not change
from the show?
I'll start with you, Paul.
For the show,
yeah.
What would I change?
Yeah.
The fairground thing. I mean, one thing that and I know this can probably be controversial, but actually, the fact that there was kids walking around with adults, I thought was a good thing. I didn't think it, and I went over to. I mean, Tash. Literally, we had no one to have the kids. Tash was at hen night Saturday night, so Mum had the kids overnight, and then we spoke about her potentially coming up on Sunday, and she was like, "I don't want to leave the kids all day." And then I messaged her on Saturday and said, "There's actually kids walking around," and I says, "But I'm not sure." It does definitely say 18 plus on the website and whatever. So I went and spoke to Emil and just said, "Mate, what's the crack with kids?" Emil panicked straight away as Emil does. And he was like, "Listen, mate, I know that they're walking around, but they're coming through from the skateboard bit, and it's really, obviously, it's hard to control." And I said, "Listen, I'm not knocking it. I want to bring my own kids." So I don't know what people's thoughts are on children being allowed to walk around these events. I think when you've got a lifestyle event on that's got stuff going on inside and outside and skateboarding and whatever, then actually the ability to take children to that event would probably double the amount of people that went through the door. And if you just look at the Vapor Expo as a standalone thing where you've got potentially 400 vendors.
2 minutes.
And the place is dense with fog. I wouldn't walk my kids around there, but actually I felt like I'd have been fine walking my kids around lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was overly densely, like, you know, clouded out either. And specifically when I was filming and, you know, near stage and whatnot, we were still able to get quite a clear angle. Whereas, you know, some of the other shows that I've been to, and you just get close enough to the person in front of you, but anything past them you don't really see, and it gets washed out behind vapor. So, no, I definitely agree with that. And, you know, again, we did pick up on it as well. But as you say, because it was such an open field there, it was going to be a bit difficult for them to control how they were getting into the main arenas. But at the same time, you've got that aspect where there are more customers that you're losing out, you know, getting the opportunity to speak to, which are right on your doorstep.
You know what, I mean, for me, we allow children into our shop if they're with their parents who are buying. We don't allow anyone in the shop under 18 on their own.
Yeah.
We're advocating that the exhale of the vape is not dangerous. It's more about, I mean, the only reasons why I think it could potentially be bad is because it was listed as an 18 plus. Just for argument's sake, when me and Tom go on the stage, there's always a chance there's going to be some foul language. And so from that point of view, if the event's advertised as 18 plus, and then you've got kids walking around and someone's dropping cunts and fucks and whatever on the stage, there's always that potential for someone saying, "Oh my God, my kids." The truth of it is, anything that I say at an expo, my kids have probably heard 10 times worse anyway. So, but that's obviously my choice to make.
That's it.
But I think when you're doing a lifestyle thing like that, maybe there is the option of having the children welcome. I don't know. I don't know what people's thoughts are. For me, I think it opens that, especially when you've had 6 weeks and potentially some people, like I was literally on holiday from work for the 2 weeks leading up to that weekend. So I was going away that last week, which is why originally I weren't even going to vend at the lifestyle.
Oh, were you not?
Just because, to be honest, I'd thought about it and I was a bit like, we do these events in the main for wholesale business. We've always been really lucky that we've had a fantastic retail business while we've been there. But for me personally, it's about doing that business that we try and rely on between May and October and May.
Yep.
And so I was thinking, how many genuine B2B customers are going to go there with that whole lifestyle thing going on? Now, the reality is that the lifestyle thing wasn't even going on Friday.
That's right.
But that wasn't even advertised. So I was saying to Tash prior to Vape Fest, if I was going to that event to look for stuff for our shop as Paul Harrison from Shady Vaping, would I be inclined to travel to Manchester when all these different things are going on? So I was concerned about how many vendors would take the B2B day seriously. And I think that showed with the footfall on Friday.
Yeah.
That actually there wasn't a huge amount of business activity going on in that place compared to a B2B day at Birmingham Expo.
Yeah.
I agree with that. As much as people moan about Jam, actually from a business perspective, it's fantastic.
Oh, definitely. And I've seen it, mate.
So from that point of view, I was a bit hesitant about the whole B2B thing, which for me is an important part of them weekends. And then I was thinking, you've got people that have potentially been on holiday for 6 weeks with their kids. They're going back to school this week or the arse end of last week. They've just spent X £100 on school uniforms. They've been away on holiday.
Yeah.
There's been nice, so they've been buying ice creams and tip tops and shit and taking the kids out on days out and all that stuff. How many people are going to have any disposable income at the end of the month? And even for me personally, mate, I would travel to that event broke to go there and meet people. But there's lots of people, and I've seen them saying, "Oh, I'm not going to go, mate. I'm on my arse." But actually, there was 6,000 free tickets given away.
Yeah.
So, but then you've still got. I know Adam Rayner, who travelled up from Kent, Essex, wherever they are, down that neck of the woods, Loughton, which I think is Essex way.
Yeah, it's not too far from us.
It's like a £270 train ticket or something, or 180 quid train ticket there and back, which is a lot of money because when you get there, he's got a hotel as well. He ended up coming up on the train because it was, on the coach, which was about 40 or 50 quid, but then it was a 6 or 7 hour journey. And I would rather shit in my hands and clap than sit on a coach for 6 hours. For me, that wouldn't have been a flyer. So, even though the cost of that ticket really for that weekend's negligible on the scale of the money potential.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So on that basis, I suppose if you haven't got a pot to piss in, it's still going to cost you a couple of £100 to get there for the day and back on train. By the time you've bought 1 cup of Coke for £2 and a burger for 65 quid or whatever they were charging for food, there's still an expense to be had before you've even bought yourself 1 bottle of liquid.
Definitely. I think that's another point to touch on as well, because they never had a cash point there, which I know hurt a lot of people. Because one of the women that we served, I forget her name now, but she had to go all the way back to the Trafford Centre just to withdraw £10 to buy a bottle.
Yeah. And we don't normally take our PayPal machines there because we've got them in the shops.
Yeah.
Check it out, I haven't got it in the shop. And normally when Birmingham Expo's on, our shops are quite busy because we're fairly local to that area. So
that's right.
Traveling to see us and just popping into the shop and see what the shop's about. But what I said to Tom this time was, we'll take the PayPal machine for wholesale business on Friday. So actually, anyone that came over and they were like, do you know where the cash point is? We were taking direct PayPal payments off them, just because it's just, I didn't want to turn.
It just works out. It makes life easier, doesn't it?
Points anyone. We had some fantastic offers on. So I think we had the clean mod at 25 or something, which is normally £60. So for them to come there, then not be able to purchase it because there's no cash machines. But I remember 3 events ago at Birmingham, there weren't no cash machines either. They actually started putting them inside the events. And actually, queues at them, mate, as long as the fucking bar. People are going to get the cash out and stuff like that. So I agree. The cash point I'd forgot about, but actually it's a perfectly valid point. What I should have done is I should have offered people to just
Give you cash back
on the credit card, give them cash and give them fucking 10%. Took 10% off them.
That's an idea for the next show, isn't it?
I'd have took more money, mate.
Oh, definitely, all day long. I think that's my next purchase, is that PayPal machine.
Now, you know what? The PayPal machines have not got one. I mean, we've got a new one to take with us.
Yeah.
50 quid.
Yeah, they're not that dear.
Nah, they're £50 now. They're chip and pin and touch and go and all that malarkey, and straight to your PayPal. If you're taking the card payment, they've got to put their 4 digits in. Obviously, you need a business PayPal to get the machine, but actually, money well spent without a doubt.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely get that next.
You just connect it to your Bluetooth and log into your account PayPal here, and you're off and away taking card payments. So.
Oh, we lost the big man.
Tom's dipped, isn't he? I'm just having a look at my inbox message off Tom to see what the agenda is for the show, because he does send me one through, believe it or not. Just bear with me for a second. He's coming. So, Jack, from your point of view, when did you launch your liquid? Why did you launch your liquid? How long has it been in the making? And
a little platform. I mean, it's something that I've been wanting to do for quite some time now, but the investment is quite heavy when you're going in on smaller units to begin with, and then wanting to do like the whole expo and the stand and, you know, going out full bang is something that I've always wanted to do. I didn't want to do it where I just went in small kind of thing. So specifically being from a marketing background and content creation, I wanted to have an opportunity where I was able to fulfill that part of the platform at the same time as the launch. So in fairness, we've not really been able to be working on the product for quite some time. I'd like to say I had about 6 to 8 months on it, but realistically, we were working for about 6 to 8 weeks on it. And literally, it all came together, say, the week before Vape Find a Show in London. So we literally had a last minute attempt to get all the labeling done, bottling, get it down to London in time, have our flyers and business cards made. And it really has been the last kind of like 4.5 weeks where everything's tied together. Yeah. But as I say, I've been thinking about it for a while. So where I've been doing film work for, you know, numerous companies in the industry, it's given me exposure to a lot of different avenues. I've created a great network, and I've built a good list of friends where I've been able to go back and find some research on, and, you know, I managed to find myself a good manufacturer. So we're being processed and manufactured in a pharma grade lab. It's UK made e-liquid as well. So it's something that we can stand on from home ground. And all the design work, anything that comes to the bottling, the packaging, labeling, bottle labels, any design work I've done myself. So I've had a huge hand in it from like every piece, which has kept me occupied and out of trouble for quite some time. It is a lot of hard work, and you know what, until you actually get into doing, you know, what it is that my colleagues now in the industry have been doing for quite some time now, you don't really appreciate how much work and effort and how many like endless hours and sleepless nights go into getting product onto shelf. And I tell you what, like, it brings a whole new level of respect for the people that have been working this industry over, you know, for the 5-6 years that it's been established over here as well, that the struggles that they've been going through to try and get the products out onto shelf, to keep it on the shelf. And, you know, like with all the numerous changes, there's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes that consumers never really get to appreciate.
No, I mean, it's one thing that pisses me off. I think, see, I probably appreciate the struggles now more than lots of people because we're just going into our 6th year and we've been doing it for a long time. And for the first 4 years, literally week on week on week on week, our business grew regardless of what we were selling because the industry was just popping and popping and popping and popping. The last 2 years for me has been, it makes me appreciate more the effort that we've always put in for us to carry these last 2 years on. And I think the next 2 years going forward are going to be equally as difficult. I also think that we've got to a point now where the industry's starting to sort out the wheat from the chaff.
Definitely.
And I said it to lots of people 2 years ago, Jack, that I felt like the first 4 years in this industry, anyone could have sold anything in this line of product and made money.
Yeah.
And then leading up towards TPD, I felt like people needed either a vaping knowledge or a business knowledge.
Yeah, I'd definitely say even as a content creator, I've seen the transition within the industry from just getting a brand up and out as quick as possible to people starting to now take a lot more pride behind the brand and the ethos and, the consistency behind everything that they're putting into it.
Yeah, I think I've been in business for nearly 25 years. And also I was a passionate vape. And I think them two things combined enabled us to grow our business the way that we grew the business. There's lots of people in the industry that are just vapers and have got no business knowledge that still managed to have a successful business.
Definitely.
And then 2 years ago, we started seeing the businessmen come into it that didn't have a fucking clue about vaping and they still made money. Because really it's about buying power, selling power, margin in the middle. And if that's right, you're going to make some money. I feel like now we have got to the point where if you haven't got a proper understanding of the industry and the people and the products, and you haven't got the business knowledge, you've probably got a fair chance that it won't work for you. Because
it'll be a definite uphill battle in that position for sure.
And I still see people now saying, "Oh, fucking hell, I'm thinking of start opening a shop because," and I know in the back of their mind they think that they're going to become millionaires by this time next year. And them days in this industry are done.
They're long gone, mate.
Unless you've already built your infrastructure over the last 6 years, you've got no chance. I'm not saying you can't have a successful business, but I would say now for a one-shot person, it's more of a lifestyle business.
Yeah.
It bring you in an exceptionally good salary, one that you'll never get working in a factory. However, will you have enough money to buy £1 million house this time next year and it be bought and paid for? Unless you do something incredible, next to no chance of that happening. There's people coming in who are dipping back out pretty quick because they think they're walking into a gold mine. Them days are done.
You don't realise, I mean, the industry's changed so much, like you say, exceptionally within the last 2 years. So seeing, and even as while I film, Vapor Expo, for example, there's so many new companies that come on those shows and you'll see them maybe one show, you might see them a second, but will you see them a third is the question.
Yeah.
And it's very hard because you see a lot of new faces at these trade shows now. And as much as you wish them luck, it is a hard battle that they've got to face. Like you say, it's not the same industry anymore and it's a lot tougher to get into.
No, and I've genuinely got an appreciation for people that have come into this in the last 12 months and managed to boom a brand, because it's not an easy done thing. It just isn't. And even with my 6 years and my presence on social media and what we've done with the shops and manufacturing endless and bringing out juice and all them things, it don't fly out of our.
No, by no means, mate.
Shops. We still got to work our cock off trying to sell it to shops. Some of that is because people don't want to stock it because they just don't want to support me. And that is a definite thing in this industry where people are a bit like, nah, fuck Paul, man. He's got his shops and now he's done endless. Now he's doing juice. He's trying to do everything. I'm just trying to do things that complement what we do.
Absolutely.
But
and why wouldn't you? You've got the platform for it.
I mean, there's just people there that go, oh, yeah, he's fucking dabbling in the juice market now. I spoke to people in the Midlands area back 4 years ago, before ever TPD was even spoke about, and said, shall we all chip some money into a lab and we will produce liquid together and we will buy it for our own shops and we will wholesale it out. And had four of us done that back then, I would be a multimillionaire now, without a shadow of a doubt. And
100%.
people that I spoke to, I know they thought I had an underlying agenda, and it wasn't. I just felt like when I didn't.
There was a shift and pattern in the industry at that point, wasn't it?
Mate, we invested over £10,000 in white labelling Shady Vaping's liquid 6 years ago when we first started. From the house, before I'd even got a shop, we were delivering product from our house, and we had our own labelled juice line from a UK company that we still use, and that was because I felt that the actual liquid itself is the equivalent of the cigarette in the box. The mod that you put that liquid in is the box that carries the fags. And if we can get a staple range of liquid, we will have repeated sales.
Absolutely.
Retention of customer. When we opened the shop, we started off with Shady Vaping liquids. We had a very small amount of tea juice in there, because I mean there wasn't excessive. We went to Vape Fest that first year, and I took a brand on because I tasted it and it was fire. And actually, in hindsight, it probably wasn't that much fire, but it was fire because there was nothing else around. Within 12 months, we were carrying 80 ranges of liquid, which at that time was probably 95% of every liquid that was available to me.
Wow.
And I've just got this thing about liquid has to be the thing that brings the customers to our shop, because everyone can carry devices, everyone can carry coils, everyone can carry met mods, everyone can carry RDAs. Not everyone's going to put I did not pull a penny out of that business for the first 2 years that we ran it, and we probably made more profit in that first 2 years than we did ever since. But we went from sort of a stock holding of £10,000 when we opened the shop to probably £250,000 of stock in the shop.
That's crazy.
But you could walk into our shop and buy any brand that you'd seen on social media, in anyone else's shop, anywhere. We had it in the shop. I went out of my way to make sure we had every single piece of latest hardware, every single latest liquid in the shop. Then we just got flooded to the point where, for me to have fully stocked my shop up with every brand of liquid, I'd have probably been sitting on £750,000 worth of stock,
if not more.
Exactly. And I mean, that's not even, that's not over exaggerated figures. It's ridiculous. So you have to take it back down a little and trying to find out what the people want. Back in the day, if someone launched I remember taking Bordeaux off Dexter. We were the first shop in the UK to stock that liquid, and there was at least 25 flavours, and we took it on in both 50/50 and 80/20. And I was saying this to Dexter the weekend, when I placed that order with Dexter, £12,500 it cost me to put that range of liquid in our shop. One brand of liquid. Now we do a wholesale pack for AF juice at 225 quid, which will give you all the flavours. In the 12 flavours, it'll give you 5 bottles of each. It'll give you a tester bottle. It gives you the Nick shots free. It gives you point of sale. It gives you menu cards. It gives you posters for the shop. And people are still saying, "Oh, do I need to take all of that?"
I know. All the added extra value, and you still get
not afford to put a £225 punt on a liquid. Then I question the stability of someone's business, and that's not me. I'm not being pedantic about that. I say we started. I remember messaging. Was it Slushy Man? Yeah. I messaged Slushy Man on Instagram. And actually, I messaged him on the night, and Aaron, who used to work in our shop, was Instagram mad. I didn't even fucking understand Instagram, but I got an Instagram account for the shop that actually one of my customers set up for me, who's a friend. And he said to me, "I've set you up an Instagram, Paul, man. You need to be on Instagram." And he was running it for months and months and months. I didn't even know what a fucking hashtag was. So whenever I posted anything on Instagram, it got absolutely no response because I wasn't hashtagging or tagging people in the photos. I was all about Facebook. It's what I'd started off on. It's what we've done. We've done it exceptionally well. But I remember seeing Slushy Man on Instagram, and I inboxed him and says, "Hi, I'm interested in taking your line in the UK." We had UK exclusive on it. We were wholesaling the liquid, and it cost me 15,000 quid to do that for one line of liquid with 3 flavours. And that's the volume of liquid I had to take to have that liquid in my shop and have exclusive on it. Now, the plus side of that was we had the exclusive until I decided we no longer wanted it. because back then the company in America appreciated the fact that we put that much into them. They supported us. If anyone went to them for liquid via Instagram, they'd put them in touch with me and say, no, Paul Harrison at Shady Vaping is wholesaling that out for us. There wasn't none of this bullshit backstabbing. And then as more and more people got involved in the industry and their brothers or their cousins or their family have got shops in America, shit was getting backdoored into the UK. And
loyalty they're no longer.
But to actually get the trust of that brand, we were spending big money. I could open a shop with stock now for £15,000. I might only have 2 black, 2 purple, 2 pink, and 2 orange, and I might only have 5 of each flavour liquid, and I might only have a little bucket of Nick shots. But I could fully stock my shop for 15 grand, and then literally use the turnover from that to keep going to the distributors, picking up bits and pieces. I couldn't buy 5 smart mods back in the day. If a smart released an 80-watt mod, if I wanted black ones, I had to buy 50 of the cunts. The thing was, 50 of them landed in the shop on Wednesday, and by Saturday morning, we'd sold out. Because the way people bought product back then was completely different as well. Because the people that had spent £100 last week on a 60-watt mod came in next Saturday and spent £110 on an 80-watt mod. And they came in Thursday and spent £125 on a 100-watt mod. And they came in the Wednesday after that and bought a 140-watt mod. Because these products were superseding themselves during the week. When new product was being launched, new RDAs were being launched, and people would literally, we'd post up on Facebook and say, the Nautilus Mini, James Burr and myself were the first people in the UK to have them in our shops. And James had placed the order. We placed the order together, but it was delivered to James. Tasha went over there, picked them up. We put a post up on Facebook page to say we've got the Nautilus Mini in. I think we had 50 of each, which was quite a lot of tanks to take at that point for what our shop was doing in sales. And within days, we're out of stock. I remember when the Atlantis, the sub-ohm tank launched, and we had 50, and we had them delivered Thursday night. We'd sold out by Saturday morning. Crazy. And then the next order was 100, and then you start having a little bit of confidence when you're placing these orders with China. Let's not go for 100. We'll go for 200 because actually it brings the cost price down by, even if it's only 50 pence a tank because of the shipping, then actually we'll do that. And it'll save us 50 pence a tank on 200 tanks. That's going to save us 100 quid. The 100 quid we can put into something else. That's how just the business was just fucking crazy. It was crazy, mental.
When it was like that, it was not like price matches online and stuff like that. There was none of that going on. You know, everybody sort of stuck loyally to their brick and mortar stores. It were never sort of who's 10p cheaper online. You know what I mean? It was very much, this is where we shop, this is where we support, this is where we're staying. So that was sort of what it was to what it's become now, where we've said this before in the past. You'll find people who online have no loyalty, and this is no offense to anybody, but they go where the cheapest place is, and it doesn't matter whether it's 10p cheaper, 5p cheaper, or a penny cheaper. They're going to the cheaper place, and there isn't that brand loyalty anymore like it used to be.
You know what, so you're absolutely right, Tom. And I think one of the things that hit home to me only on Monday, I said me and Tasha went shopping uptown on Monday. And one thing that I've always advocated is that our online business is less than 10% of what our business does overall. So we've always been gifted with really healthy retail stores. And on that basis, I never ever sold my soul to the devil to be smashing the internet market as well, because we did price honouring between the website and the store, etc. One thing that was very apparent walking around Birmingham city centre on Monday, which is something we don't do very often, and that's because if we go to town, we'll park in the Bullring car park, we go to the Bullring, it's got everything we need to shop in, we get back out and we fuck off. The parking's damn expensive, but you come out the lift in the shopping centre, you go back into the lift and you're back at your car. But actually on Monday, we went for a little walk around the actual town itself, where all the old shops used to be. And the amount of shops that are just available for rent is ridiculous. And it just highlights this lazy generation of people, lazy generations of people that buy online, and the likes of Amazon that will ship a bottle of fucking pop to your house in 2 hours. And
I think that's the thing, though, isn't it? Everyone's looking for quick delivery and they want it here and now. And that's what we're fighting.
But that's when you start, like, it basically starts with like your fruit and veg stores, doesn't it? It's not even, doesn't have to be about vaping. You know, you have your family run fruit and veg stores. how many of them do you see about anymore? Apart from in like a big market, you don't, because they don't exist, because they can't compete with cheaper prices online. Just because the bigger wholesaler, like you could class Morrison's as a wholesaler because it's buying in millions and millions and millions and selling it fucking cheaper, and nobody can keep up with it because they can't buy in that sort of amount. And nobody has that loyalty to where they go. And it's exactly the same now in vaping. There's no loyalty, and this is not me saying this sort of people are not loyal. This because we're all guilty of going shouting Alexa and telling her to order something. You know,
I mean, you know what, Tom? I am not a very good internet shopper, but genuinely, I would rather go into town and I'd rather feel something in my hand and I'd rather try it on and I'd rather do, and I'd rather when I get home know that I haven't got to fucking wait a day for it to come. When it comes, I'm too fucking fat for it, so I've got to package it back up, I've got to send it back and all them things. That said, if I know what I want, so if I wanted a phone case for my phone and this phone case turns my phone into an Alexa and it's fucking, I can go and buy it at the shop for 200 quid, or I can get it online for 100 quid. I'd drive to the shop and pay £200 for it. But if I know what I want and I can't get it today and I've got to order it online, I will say to Tasha, because she's the master at shopping online, this is what I want. And she will literally say, oh yeah, everywhere it's 100 quid, but I've just paying it for 91 quid. Now I will go to Argos, Amazon, fucking all them branded stores, and I'll buy my shit and it costs me more money. Or I'll drive to the shop where I can actually touch it and feel it. I can speak to the sales guy. I know that if I've got any issue, I can go back. I like that.
It's the experience. It's not just actually buying the product.
I'm a generation or a generation and a half older than a lot of the people that are massively involved in this industry. So all them new school younger people, they're about that internet life. They're about fucking doing something on the phone while they're having a shit, and then they've got a delivery coming to their house in 2 hours' time. And I'm genuinely not. I can't search for fuck all on my phone. But Tasha will get on her phone and just do what she's got to do. If I need to search something online, I'll get my Mac out so I can see what the fuck I'm doing, and I can have various tabs open and I can flick backwards and forwards. I'm not new school enough for the kids. But one thing that I realised on Monday is we need to do some massive work on our website, because it is becoming the thing. And the reason why I never ever pushed the website at the start was people that vaped didn't have a fucking clue what vaping was. So they wanted to come to the shop and they wanted us to tell them how to use it, and they wanted us to advise them, and they wanted a bit of confidence that they could come back in there with a problem and we would sort it for them. Now we've got this new school of vapor coming in whose friend vapes, and he's been vaping for 3 months, so he's already asking for sponsorship, and he thinks he's a pro vapor, and he's telling them what they need to buy. They don't need to understand it anymore because their pal understands it, or they think they understand it. So they get their kit, they drive around to their pal's house, he shows them how the coil goes in, how it fills up. That thing about the needing the shop is dying. In my opinion, I'm not saying the shops aren't making any money. It's just different. And then the people that do come in the shop, they come in the shop, they know what they want, they buy what they want, they fuck off out. 3 years ago, they came to the shop, they bought what they wanted, they went upstairs in the vape lounge with the other 10 people, and they blew jellyfish, and they blew O's, and they blew clouds, and they had a laugh and a joke, and then they come back down and bought another bottle of liquid, and then they sat back upstairs, and I used to see posts on random Facebook groups, who's meeting at Shades, I'll be there at 1 o'clock on Saturday. And that feeling I used to get is worth more than any money we've ever took through that business, where I think as if we've done something that's become a meeting place of a Saturday afternoon or a Saturday night or a Friday night or whatever. And actually, by and large now, people tend to come in that, unless they're old school customers that have had a relationship with our staff for all them years. They come in, can have 2 bottles of that, packet of calls, thanks very much. And they're polite. I'm not suggesting they're ignorant. But that whole community thing of gathering in the shop and learning new product and looking at new product and testing it out and fucking about with it and having a go on it and then buying one and taking it home and then posting it back on Facebook 2 hours later with the new build in there, that's dead for me. It's just, and I don't know how. I don't think that will ever come back.
It's exciting, isn't it? That's what's is the excitement of it, and being going into the shop and seeing familiar faces and enjoying it. And to me, that's what it is. It's not necessarily anybody's changed in how they were. I think the excitement for it is no longer there. And you know, going back to what you're saying about going into the shop and stuff like that, I'm very much the same. I want to go in the shop and feel it, and I'm necessarily not just there just to see what it's like in front of me. I'm not one of these ones to wait. I want it fucking now, and if I want to buy it, I'm going to the shop to get it now. I'm not waiting 2-3 days for it to turn up in post. And I think a lot of people are sort of like, even down to the fact that people will still turn around this day and go, I'm ordering from Fast Tech. 8 weeks later, it's still turned up, and they're still fucking happy about it when it turns up.
Mate, honestly,
For the sake of a few quid, innit?
You know what I mean?
mate, if it's on Fast Tech for 20 quid and I can go and buy it now for £100, I'm going to buy it now if I want it. And that's because
at that moment.
Yeah, but people say, "Oh yeah, that's because you're fucking flossing." I've done that from when I was 10. And then if I couldn't afford it, I was only saying this to Tash the other day about sort of like how kids are different. I've got 2 older brothers, and my oldest brother, well, my middle brother, if my dad give us 100 quid to go and buy some clothes, I might spend £130 on one pair of jeans. I'm talking fucking 25 years ago. £120 was a lot of money for a pair of jeans. It still is today, let alone 25 years ago. But I'd actually say, I'd get the 100 quid and I'd save the extra 30 or 20 quid and I'd go and buy what I wanted. My brother would go to the cheapest shops he could find and come home with bags of shit for his 100 quid. And it's just because some people are like, I want what I want. And if we're looking for a stereo and it's £2,000 for argument's sake, and there's a similar one available in the shop for 1,400 quid, I'm a bit like, I'm going to buy that and I'm still going to spend another £2,000 on that other stereo because I know that's what I want to do. So I'd rather wait till it's in stock or wait till I can afford it and I get what I want. And on that basis, I am an impatient prick. I know that I am.
I feel that pain.
I went and bought a Nintendo Wii back in the day, and I drove to Derby at 11 o'clock on a Sunday night. Now the reality is, by the time I got back from Derby and it's fucking 12:30, I set it up and then went to bed. But then I just slept nice, knowing I've got my fucking Wii, because that's just the sort of knobhead I am. Do you know what I mean? And that was when they were fully out of stock everywhere. And I bought it off a cunt who works at Argos, who blatantly bought it with staff discounts and mugged me off with another 80 quid on top of the recommended retail price, and had the nerve to give me the receipt that he bought it for. But it was brand new, and I couldn't get one from nowhere else. And I phoned my brother up and said, "You fancy drive to Derby? I'm going to buy a Wii." And that's just the sort of person that I am. So I would drive to a shop. I'd drive to a vape shop in Derby if I wanted something. I'd still do that today. If I didn't have it in my shop and I wanted it and someone's got it, I'd drive there and I'd go and buy it. And I'd never walk in there. I'd never ever do that whole it's Paul from Endless and yeah, I've got my own shops. If it's 100 quid, I'll give you 100 quid. If you recognise me and you want to knock some off, knock yourself out. But I'd never walk into people's vape shops expecting nothing for nothing, ever. And even sometimes now, I've said to Tasha, off companies that we wholesale off, if I want something personally for me or she wants something that we haven't got, I'll always say to them, ask them what price they'll do it for us for, because I'm spending money with them for the shop anyway. And she always says, nah, fuck that. I'll just give them what they want. If they offer me the wholesale price or a discount, obviously I'll take it, but she'll never, ever ask for it, ever. And yet I get people coming into my shop that they know me from fucking 30 years ago because I once said hello to them at the park. And they'll come into the shop going, oh, yeah, me and Paul are pals and that. So I said to all the staff, and Tasha started saying to you, I'll give him a bell and tell him he'll message me straight away and he'll sort you out. Oh, he ain't got his mobile number. You can't be that much of a friend then. He's had that 24 years. I've had the same mobile number for 25 years.
I've ever noticed that though, when you want discount, you sort of like politely don't say anything, but when someone else wants it, they're always
they come in and fucking take my balls off. I mean, I literally, when I used to work at that shop every Saturday by and large for getting on for 12 months, I was in the shop every single Saturday and I'd go down there 95% of the night straight from work. And obviously people start to know that you're in the shop at certain times. And I could be standing talking to one of the members of staff and they'd turn around, I'd disappear out the back and they'd be like, where are you fucking going to say? Some cunt's coming in here who I know he's going to ask me for a discount. Serve him and fucking get rid of him. Because any single person that would warrant that respect off me, I've messaged my shop before and says, X is coming in. When he comes in, he's coming in for this, just give it to him. Not even discount it, just give it to them. There's other people that I'll say, because you're a friend or family, I'll message them and give you 20% or whatever the discount might be. Someone that hasn't got my mobile number don't deserve any fucking discount off me because I don't know the cunts.
We're friends on Facebook.
Yeah, we're friends on Facebook.
I don't even know how many friends I've got on Facebook. Let me have a look.
It is the case, though, isn't it? But do you guys think that's the mentality of this industry, or do you just think people are cunts?
Mad.
People are cunts.
Mad. I think it's mad that people expect to get free shit and discount codes on every single purchase. I can never once remember walking into my fag shop and saying to Mohammed, how much can you knock me off a packet of fags, mate? Not once.
Truth.
I never ever once put a status up 10 years ago saying that anyone got a discount code for Benson Edges. I don't understand why it's accepted to be the norm. But actually, I'm not paying retail on this. I'll walk into Apple and I'll give you 1,100 quid for my phone because you can't get it for cheaper than £1,100 anywhere because Apple have fixed the price on the cunt. But I'm not going into Paul's shop and paying fucking £20 for a bottle of liquid.
I said it the other day on somebody's status who we know very well, and he put on there, is there any discount codes for this website? And I just put hashtag fuck off you balling. I think it's very much the mentality of things, and it's don't get me wrong, everybody likes a fucking bargain, but when you expect it, it's a total different fucking ball game. I'm sorry, but it is. It's the expecting of having that discount and being like, I've got Paul on my friends list, I've got Jattin on my friends list, shouldn't it be free? You know what I mean? We're buddies, aren't we? You know, I've private messaged you once or twice, you know. It's the mentality of it. And once again, I'll go back to it. It's not the fact is that we don't all like a bargain. It just shouldn't be expected that you should be able to just walk into a shop and go, do you know what? Let me have a discount. But it is like that online. Everywhere's got a discount, you know. So we've got discounts. And it's not like we chuck the discount all over the place and say, this is the discount, It's, you know, it should be like a reward to have a discount code. Do you not think? You can't go to fucking Nike ID shop and get a fucking discount code.
People come into our shop, and bear in mind, there's not a huge amount of shoppers that are active on Facebook because of the style of shop that we run, which is predominantly starter kits, mouth to lung, and middle of the range vapors that have got a decent kit, but they're still mouth to lung vaping. They're not active in these Facebook groups. But the ones that are will come into the shop and can I have one of them. Oh, can you apply the group discount for me? What group discount? Which code? And I go, yeah, any one of them. And they're like, yeah, the whole point of that discount code is it's given to that group. We honor them code. Any code we put out on social media is honored in our store. Now we've actively probably got something like 20 codes where we sponsor various groups. Even Tom's got a code. No one will know Tom's code because he's that lazy. He don't even fucking post it. Tom's got a discount code. Jack's got a 10% discount code. Now for me, for someone to walk into our shop, if they say MEC 10, I'm on the page. I'll MEC 10, knock yourself out. When they come in going, all right, mate, you got any discount codes? You fucking tell me. And they're like, yeah, I can't remember what it is. We'll go on the group that you're on and find it. That's the whole point of the pin post. That's the whole point of us sponsoring specific groups. But again, as a person, honestly, my first thought when I'm buying something online is I never look for a discount code for anything. I look for the cheapest I can find it. Tasha will go and find the cheapest, and she's like, hold on, I'll just see if there's a discount code for this place. She does it because she buys so regularly online. For me, I just find what I like and I buy it and I click buy it now. And then she'll message me and go, Dad, I've got them on Groupon for 7 pence. You've just paid $9. I don't even know about Groupon. But now I do. I literally just says, I literally message her and say, I want one of these. I'll send her the model number or whatever. And then she's like my little fucking.
I think we might need to take advantage of this, Tom.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, there's people out there that can do it and there's people that can't. And for me, I know what I want. I know it's 100 quid. If I can save 9 quid, I'm a bit like 9 quid's 9 quid. I'd probably give more than £9 away today to people that live on the street.
So that we can fucking carry on giving away shit on Vape.
You've got to save them £9 for the 10% discount code.
That's what she just said. We've started shopping at Aldi just so I can support Mech10 discount.
And it's not wrong with Aldi, mate.
Huh? But
I said there's nothing wrong with Aldi.
listen, mate, when you've sold 40,000 bottles of liquid, you'll be walking past Aldi with your fucking nose held in the air.
Yeah, it meant my wife, mate.
It's just that mentality, and the mentality is good, but it's bad in ways, so bad in so many ways. You know, I just sit there and think, even going back 2-3 years, we weren't begging for discount codes. It was a privilege to have a discount code.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, you've said I won't go see the local corner shop man and ask him for discount off your fags. And I just think, is it maybe us as vendors, not necessarily us guys, but vendors that are sort of easing these discount codes out to get these people into the sites, and then people have turned around and gone, actually, we think everybody does that, so we might as well just fucking ask them.
Yeah,
No,
I
I mean,
mate, our codes are out there for a reason. But to just shoot, like to walk into our shop and just go, yeah, have you got any discount codes, mate? Yeah. I literally, I'll get people inbox me and say, all right, mate, have you got a rainbow smart mag kit in? Yeah. How much are they? $59.99. Have you got any discount codes? And when I reply yes, and that's all I reply is yes. And you know the speech bubble. The speech bubble comes up and then it disappears, and I know they're like that. Oh fuck! What do I even say to him now? Well, can I have it, please? Yeah. Where do I get it from? Off the internet, mate. Knock yourself out. Fine. The truth of it is, you can go to Google and type in shady vaping discount code, and our codes are on some fucking mad guy's site who collects everyone's codes. And I'm like, why is he even begging attention and giving away 10% of my money? I don't even know this geezer. But you can, I mean, that's how easy it is to find the discount code. And you know what? I bet, honestly, right, I could count on 2-3 fingers the amount of times I've searched for a discount code for somewhere. I can't find one for shit.
Mate, that's the story of my life.
Literally, I bought,
on the right sites.
Tasha bought me that beer machine for our anniversary. And then there was a deal on the kegs when the World Cup was on. And then I was talking to my manager director from work. And that geezer lives in a fucking castle, mate. He's balling hard as fuck. And
Can I just clarify discount code, Paul?
Huh?
We got liquid 10 as a discount code, because that's a discount code. I found it on couponbirds.com.
What's the discount code? What's the discount code?
Liquid 10 is a discount code on shadyvaping.co.uk, supposedly.
Liquid 10?
Yeah.
That geezer's lying, mate. I tell you that. I can tell you that. That's definitely not one of our codes. He's actually a fucking liar. He's just begging. He's begging traffic through his fucking website. The mad guy. Tasha's just said she's going to try and place an order on our own website and see if Liquid 10 works. Yeah, she done that before. You know, she bought some with our PayPal.
I bought your book, didn't I?
Oh yeah, when I wrote my book and it was on Kindle. Now, bearing in mind, I'd got paperbacks of my book in my house. I was downstairs on my computer, and a PayPal payment come through from me, where she bought the book upstairs on her Kindle. My own book. She bought it on Kindle, and I said to her, "What are you doing?" And she went, "Well, you get the money anyway." And I was like, "I don't get all of it because some other cunt's taking a slice of it." Books, there's books in the garage, man. Go and get a book and knock yourself out in the bath. Madness. Yeah, I said to my MD, he had a little bar put in his back garden on the decking and whatever, you know, like a fucking hardwood shed, in essence, but with a drop down front on it and whatever. And I said, mate, Tasha's bought me this beer machine. It's fucking fire. That cunt goes online. He's about to check out, and he says, "Oh, I ain't got." And he's 64 Timmy's, and he's like, "I'll just check and see if I get a discount code, 25% off." And I was like, I'd never find that anywhere. It just never happens for me, ever. I'll go into the shop, mate, and I'll get the trainers that I want, and it's the last pair in store, and they look like someone's ran round the fucking block in them, and they won't even give me like a $5 off or fuck all. They're a bit like, we'll take them or leave them, but they know that I want them. So I'm like, go on then, I'll fucking have them. And I always feel like I've mugged myself off. Like, literally look like Forrest Gump's used them on one of his little jogging exercises. I pay full price for these, man. It's not fucking, man.
Oh, fucking hell. But it's even down to food, going into restaurants and stuff, I would never, ever complain in a food. I've never, ever in my whole life never complained in a food restaurant because I know for a fact the minute you say, well, that steak's not done, they're going to go back and...
Mate, you need to come. I've kicked off bad in restaurants. No, just stupid things like it's a bit like the Endless thing, right? When I remember when we launched Endless, one of my things that I said right from the start is that I never, ever, ever, ever want me, Tash, any of the staff to say to anyone ever, "Come on, mate, you paid 60 quid for it." You know, like if they're moaning that something's not quite right on it, actually, we've sold that product for that price, expecting it to go out in perfect condition. So actually, package it back up, send it back to me. We'll pay the postage. We'll get a replacement sent out to you. And on the same basis, if I'm paying £400 for like, I'm not even going to mention the company because that would just make me a scoundrel. But like when they launched that fucking the Cerakote mod, I can't even remember, like in the camo colours and stuff like that, and it was, or I can't even remember which mod. It might have even been the painted the conserves, and they were shocking, like badly shocking. The paint was peeling off them, and how the fuck Benny got all these yanks to say, "Hey, dude, it doesn't matter if the paint's flaking off. We're selling mods for 60 quid." And I couldn't even see what the geezer's problem was. And he's tearing me a new arsehole in the inbox going, "I don't fucking care, mate. I want my foot. I want a fucking mod." And I was saying to him, I honestly can't see what's wrong with that. And then you've got these other mad geezers like accepting a £400 mod that's substandard because Benny says, "Oh, no, they'll all be classed as half limited edition. Them fucked ones will." What the fuck is Blem Life all about, mate? But how can you sell a fuck mod and it fetch more than the proper mod because it's limited edition? I'm a bit like, I'll phone the shop up. Do us a favour, mate. Chuck a dozen dirties round the floor. Stick them up for £250. I never ever got that mentality. And I say, and for me, where quality is concerned, if you're selling something for whatever amount of money it is, I expect it to be right. And if I go and eat a meal, whether it costs fucking £30 or £200, not once have I read a menu that says all you can eat for 10 quid and then a little asterisk saying, "Bear in mind our food's fucking shit." They don't do it. So when I start complaining, and they're a bit like, "Mate," I'm like, "Listen, sort my fucking grub out and sort it out now." I can't even count the amount of times I've lost my head in restaurants, to the point where sometimes I've showed them that I've got the money to pay for this meal, but I'm not paying for it. It's substandard. It's a heap of shit. I've been waiting 2.5 hours for my fucking pudding. I'm not paying you. Simple as. And if you want to phone the police, phone the fucking police. I'll pay for my drinks because I've drank the drinks. I'm not paying for nothing else. And they'll always say, "Well, when you came into the shop, you agree a contract." And I'm like, "I do, and part of that contract is, mate, you have to give me food that's edible."
Yes,
I'm not refusing to pay because I can't afford to pay. I'm refusing to pay because it's shit. No, I was in a place, mate, and in fact, it's a Miller and Carter's now, just down the road from here. And I went in there on a random Wednesday. Me and Tash was like, "You know what? We'll go straight there. We'll pick the kids up. We'll go there and have food and whatever." A random Wednesday in the middle of the fucking month when everyone's normally broke on their arse, and it was fucking rammed in there, which is cool. So I sit down and she says, "You're looking at about half an hour for food." Perfect. Because even if she says to me, "You're looking at 2 hours for food," it's then my decision to say, shall we stay for 2 hours or shall we fuck off somewhere else? But she said to me, "You're looking at about half an hour for food, not a problem." We ordered the food. It took 1 hour and 40 minutes to come after me saying to them, "Look, they come over. Is everything all right?" And I'm like, "No, actually, it fucking ain't. Have you got some dinner for me?" And then she made a big point of saying to me, "If you want coffee, it's refillable." Do you think I could find any cunt to refill my coffee? So it's silly things like that. Look, she actually sold it to me on the basis that I can have this coffee refilled as many times as I want. Now, I'm not there to take the piss and just drink coffee or tip it in the plant pot just so I can keep ordering more coffee. I'd been waiting an hour and 45 minutes for my food. I needed another cup of coffee. No cunt was coming over. The kids' bottomless drinks weren't getting refilled because there weren't enough staff on. I finally got my dinner, and the dinner was shit. It was fucking cold and whatever. And they come over and they go, "Is everything all right?" And I was like, "Actually, no, it fucking isn't." I said, "It's shit, to be honest." I said, "The service after waiting that long is fucking crap. The food's shit." And she basically shrugged the shoulders and walked over to the manager. Now, I'm expecting the manager to come over and go, "Is everything all right, sir? Is there anything we can help with?" And he basically shrugged his shoulders and fucked off in the other direction. And then
that's terrible. That is.
It was just,
how many times have you been back since?
Next level shit service. So when I told the geezer about himself, and I properly told him, I said to him, "I'm not paying for the dinner, mate." And he says, "You will pay for it." And I was like, "Listen, none of you in here are going to get the money out of my pocket. It's in. I said, it's in this pocket here. Come and take it out of my pocket, mate. I'll pull your fucking fingers off your hand, you little cunt." I've ended up properly abusing him. And when I'm wound up like that, I genuinely try not to get abusive, because I'd rather be professional and be a bit more
sophisticated.
What I'm trying to say, just to prove a point that I'm not just being a thug and I'm not just refusing to pay for my dinner. I'm trying to make something click in here that makes them go, "You know what? Actually, the geezer's right." But he started going, "You will pay for it." And I was like, "Who the fuck's going to make me pay for it, mate? I know you ain't. And I know there's no other cunt in here that's going to make me pay for it. I'm not paying for the food." And I even says to him, "I'll pay for the drinks because we've all drank our drinks. I'm not paying for the puddings because you can see we've left fucking 5 of them on the table. And I'm not paying for the main courses because you basically took full plates away because the kids wouldn't eat their dinner. My dinner was shit and cold, and my missus hadn't touched hers. I'm not paying for the food." After about 5 minutes of abusing him, and he was going, "Can you just keep it down?" I was looking, and he was saying, "We haven't got enough staff." I said, "Then stop taking fucking orders. That's what you've got to do. Is say, we haven't got we're out of staff tonight, or give me a 2-hour waiting time. Just because you're busy doesn't mean you can throw shit at me and expect me to eat it, and then expect me to pay for the fucking thing." And in the end, he just basically said, I was trying to give him the money for my fucking drinks in the end, and he wouldn't take it off me. And then I made out he was trying to make me out to be a tramp. So I was like, "Listen, I want to pay for my fucking drinks, right? I'm not trying to mug you off here." And he's like, "No, it's all right. Don't worry about it." And I was like, "Don't make out I'm trying to rob you, you fucking prick. I'll pay for my fucking drinks, but I'm not paying for the food." In the end, he was like, "Can you just leave the restaurant, please, and don't ever come back again?" I was like, "Fuck you, man. I'm out of here, you prick."
I can imagine you wallet off Paul and going, "Look what you could have had."
Look, he was basically, look, he never actually says, "You obviously can't afford to pay for your dinner," but I know that's what he was insinuating. And I was like, "Listen, there's my money, mate. I can pay for my fucking dinner. It's not paying for this dinner." It was about fucking 70 quid or something. It's not like I'd gone out to some mad swanky restaurant. And it was just like, I'm not paying for substandard food. We went to a Hungry Horse one day, obviously pre-banned. So they do like a 24-ounce steak.
We've got to get that in there.
They do like a 24-ounce. They do a 24-ounce steak or something like that. So I'd have the 24-ounce steak. If they'd done a 32, I'd have the 32. And it comes on a fucking silver platter that you would cook a roast on, cook a Christmas turkey on the cunt. And I've got my steak and I've got my onion rings and about 19 chips. And they put all the food out, and then he goes, "Can I get anything else for you?" And I says, "Yeah, some fucking chips, mate." and he was like, he says, "What?" And I said, "I don't know if the fucking steak has ate some of the chips, but there's never a full portion of chips on that plate." And he was like, "You really want more chips?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want more fucking chips." The geezer brought my fucking plate back out, mate, with about 19 baskets of chips on it. I know he was proper like, "There's your fucking chips, get stuck into them backwards." And I swear, I had about, like, without exaggeration, I would say I had about 3 large bags of chips that you get from the chip shop piled on this fucking plate. And I was like, "You know what? Fuck you, man. I'm eating these just out of principle." But I could not finish my food, man. Proper, I was fucking done. But even like McDonald's, they're not even like people going, "Oh yeah, you fucking pay peanuts, you get monkeys." You don't get a bad wage working at McDonald's, even if you're on minimum wage. And actually, they pay more than minimum wage now to work in McDonald's. And when I have a large fries and it's less than a medium fries in a large box, I'm not having that shit.
Yeah, that one grates me, man.
That's
The
what
little tip up at the bottom of the box.
No, it's not even that. I'm like fucking shake that box, and I'm like, mate, put another scoop of fucking fries in there, will you? What's the matter with you? I've literally took my burger back, and I mean, this is probably when I'm on having a bad day. This is actually me being an arsehole. I've took my Big Mac back, and I'm like, mate, there's no pickle on it. And he's like, oh, sorry, I'll make a fresh one. And then when I get back to my chair, I don't even eat the pickle. I take it off. I don't like it.
That's one of my tricks.
But that's just.
I always ask for a burger with no pickle and no lettuce.
Pretentious arsehole, to be fair. But normally, I went to McDonald's one day, and like literally, I've gone to McDonald's. As you can imagine, as a fat cunt, I've been to McDonald's many a time in my life, and many a time my order's wrong. And as long as between whatever's in that bag you can scrape together and everyone can eat, I'm not the sort of guy that drives back to McDonald's and kicks off, because I haven't got time in my life to do that. But I got back here one day from McDonald's, bearing in mind it's about 3 minutes from my house, and there was a complete meal missing out of the box, and I was like, they're fucking stupid down there, man. So I've ended up taking the whole lot back to them, because I was like, you know what, I'm buying food for us to sit down and eat together. I'm not having you lot eat and then me come back with another meal for someone else. I'm taking the fucking lot back to them. And I've gone for about 40 minutes, and I ended up coming back with Kentucky because I got kicked out of McDonald's. But I was properly. I went in there and she's like, is everything correct? And I was like, no, actually, it fucking isn't. I says, why can you not get a 5-meal order right? And this Asian bird was saying to me, you come bowling out. I was abusing one of the people. I abused the geezer that served me, and says to you, mate, are you fucking stupid? I've ordered 5 meals. There's blatantly 4 meals in there. And he's like, all right, I'll sort it out. And I was like, yeah, but I've drove home and I've come back and I've got my kids at home waiting to eat, and you paid to do a job. How can you not count fucking 5 meals, you thick cunt? And then this Asian bird come over, who was about 4'2", and she was like, is there a problem? And I says, not with you, there's not, no. I'm sorting my problem out. I says, but you've got bigger problems than me. You need to sort this shit out, love. And she was saying, I'm the manager. I'm the manager of this restaurant. I was like, fucking restaurant, you mad woman. I says, you flip fucking burgers, you cunt. I swear. But then she's going, I've been to university. And I said, and I bet your fucking dad's right proud of you that you're fucking here flipping burgers, and after he's paid you to go to uni, you fucking little rat. Nah, mate, she fucking literally threw my money at me and says, you barred. And I was like, you can't ban me from McDonald's, you fucking mad cunt. And she was like, you barred, get out of my restaurant and fuck me off. So I had to get to Kentucky and get the tea through Kentucky. You know?
Fucking hell. Paul's pictures are put back in Mackey's. Don't fucking say this.
Have you been back since?
The place that I was on about earlier, where I ended up refusing to pay for the meal. Me and Tasha went there one day, and I always have my steak well done. And that's because I cannot avoid the thought of blood on my plate when I'm eating. And whenever I go anywhere for a steak, I always say to them, can I have it well done, please? I actually like it medium well, but no one ever does a medium well. It's always too undercooked. So I always ask for it well done. So I know that there's a chance I might even get medium well, because they're that stupid, they ain't got a fucking clue. So my steak comes out and I cut it, and it was like the fucking cow was having its period on my plate. So I swear, they come over and there was like, is everything correct? And I was like, love, this fucking thing's still alive, man. It's still got a fucking heartbeat. I says, you need to go and cook my steak for me. And then they're like, snatch the plate off you, like you're being inconsiderate. And then it comes back, and all they've done is burnt the outside even more, but they're still fucking inside of it, because all they do is stick it on the griddle at 1,000,000 degrees and go back out. And I was like, it's still not fucking cooked. So I ended up kicking off in there. And then that was when I had the 50 Shades of Birmingham page. And I remember doing a review on the pub, and a proper funny one where I was just abusing everyone in there and fucking whatever. I was on about the fat girl that works in there whose blouse didn't fit her. That was the level I took from YouTube. And then I got an inbox message through the 50 Shades of Birmingham page from the manager of the restaurant, basically saying, I am so sorry that you've had this service. What we'll do, he basically said, I've not been here long. I've only started 3 weeks ago. Believe it or not, I've been working 18-hour days and blah, blah, blah. And we know that there's issues in the restaurant, but we're trying to get it right. And oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I can't believe that you've put us on this page and fucking rare. And he said, basically, what we'll do, he said, send me your address and we'll send you out a free meal. So we went back, and me and Tasha actually for Valentine's Day. Now that it was Valentine's Day, weren't it?
Took me on a cheap day.
No, we went. No, because when we went in with the vape, no, sorry, I'm telling a lie. It weren't that time. It was Valentine's Day where I told them to stick the steak up their ass after. Yeah. I went and had this steak that was like literally still moving on my plate, and I kicked off. Done this review on the Facebook page. The manager messaged me. Then one of the women that worked there messaged me and says, "Hi, I've seen your review earlier. I work at that. Was it Harvester? I work at the Harvester on the Hagley Road. Can you tell me if you're on about my blouse that is the one that?" And I was like, actually, it weren't you that I was on about, to be completely honest. It was that fucking fat cunt in there who was slamming my plate about because I kept sending my steak back. I got the free vouchers to go for a feed, so I went there and I obviously went in with these vouchers. And there must be a code on their secret that they know these are vouchers that are only given out to fucking cunts who have complained, because the service was exceptional and the food was on point and it was quality. So then when I got home, I'd done a review saying this happened. They sent me the voucher. I've been out there. I'd just like to say congratulations to the manager. He's actually got it on point. Everything's fire. The service was wicked. The food was wicked. We had a really nice night. Thank you very much, everyone who's put the effort in to run that restaurant how it should be run. Then a few months later, me and Tasha went out on our own. I go back to the same restaurant and I'm like, can I have a steak? How do you like it? Well done. And I know everyone's a bit like, oh, fucking hell, this is that fucking secret reviewing geezer. So my steak comes out and it was perfectly cooked. But I don't know what was wrong with the cow, but there weren't much meat on this fucking steak. It was just gristle, like badly gristle. So she come over, she's like, is everything all right? Is your steak cooked okay, sir? And I was like, it is, but to be fair, it's a really shit piece of meat. And she was like, oh, I'm really sorry. Let me take it. And like, I cut it and I just said to her, look, I'm not being like an arsehole. This piece of meat's bad. And she was like, I'm really sorry. And I said, well, can you do me a favour then? Can you take my missus as well then? Because by the time you've cut me another piece of steak, she's either going to vet a meal or else she's going to be cold. So go back. I don't mind waiting. I'm not being an arsehole. I'd rather wait and enjoy my food when it comes. So went through the same exercise all over again. And it was like, I got the piece of meat that was next to the bad piece of meat that was still fucking bad. So I cut it, and then she come over, is that one okay? And I was like, no, it's the fucking same as the one that I had half an hour ago. So then she says, 1 minute, so she took and I showed her again. I was like, I'm not being funny, love. This has got a big dirty gristle running through the whole of the piece of meat and whatever. She come back over with the plate and thrust it in front of me and says, I've just spoke to the chef, and he said the meat that come in this morning weren't that good and they're all the same. And I was like, oh, well, I'll just fucking suffer it then, shall I, you cunt? And I was like, I don't get how that's an answer. And what I don't understand is my full-time job is pretty much based around, it's a service industry that we offer. So we're servicing upwards of 1,200 customers a week. I couldn't just pick up the phone and go, you're not happy with your galvanizing, mate. It might be sharp and it might cut your hands, but it won't go rusty. That's what you're basically paying. You're paying for it not to rust. I can't guarantee it's going to look nice and pretty. It's not going to cut your fucking digits off when you throw it around. I don't understand how people expect not to get a service that you're paying for, and it grates my shit. And it doesn't matter whether it's a burger that's £2 or we're eating in Marco Pierre White's and it's fucking 80 quid for the steak. It doesn't make no odds to me. It's more about, if that's what you're selling for that price, you're not selling it as substandard. You're selling it as a value for money, the same as we sell Endless as value for money. It don't mean that we should expect you to accept shoddy goods. And it just boils my piss, properly boils my piss. And it's like one of them things where I would, like, if I start kicking off in the restaurant and my kids are eating, they start eating as fast as they can because they know I'm about to get up and fuck off. And I know they're all going, fucking hell, man, Dad's kicking off again. We're going to have to leave before I've even got... My kids eat their favourite thing last. So like, if they've got whatever they've got, if it's a burger and chips, they'll eat the chips first and they'll eat the burger. The minute I start kicking off, they all pick up the burger, man, and start waiting. We've got about 4 minutes before I'm dragging them out saying, fuck this man.
The question is, when you got your steak, did you ask for a discount code?
No, but what I did do is we went to the park that's local. You know the park we went to, Tom, with the Filipino fucking lady chicks in the swimsuits. Well, on Bank Holiday Monday, like the May Bank Holiday, I don't even know. They have like a little festival over there. Not that same one you went to, a completely different one. It's got a fair and it's got
go
reggae.
to that one again, though. We need to go to that one again.
It was on about 4 weeks ago, mate. Tasha went down there with the kids, man, and it's got all the same fucking ladyboys with the bollocks hanging out the side of their bikinis.
That's right up your street, Tom.
That's not even a joke, though. That's not even a joke. That's the truth. That is the fucking truth.
No, I said to Tom one day, come down on Saturday, man, bring Gabby and the Babby and whatever, and he come down. I was like, oh, there's something on at the fucking park, like a little festival. So we got down there, and it was a Filipino show. And it was like literally ladyboys in bikinis dancing on the stage, and I was like, what the fuck have I come to? Tom was fucking doing the dirty wine to it. What the fuck, man? Actually, we went to the park on this other bank holiday, and we got a voucher off someone for fish and chips. And there was a chippy just round the corner from where we live that was called Chamberlain's. And I suppose it's akin to a Harry Ramsden type chip shop where it's actually got a restaurant on the side as well. So we went in there and the food was fire and the service was fire. And we had a 50% discount on it or something. And I put another review on my 50 Shades page that started off where I know everyone was expecting me to, every review I ever done on that page was ripping companies to fucking shreds. Only when they deserved it, but it weren't just me being an arsehole. It was like genuine experiences. But I started off the review and I know everyone was expecting me to rip it a new arsehole. And I finished by saying, it's the best fish and chips I've ever had, man. Fucking fair play to you. Your food's fire, blah, blah, blah. And the geezer messaged me and he was like, hi, I just want to say thanks ever so much for the review and da-da-da. Bring your family along and we'll treat you. He says, I'll just ask you if you bring one of your books for me. So then we started going in there. My mate used to shop me 50% off the bill every time I went in. So we went in there and we ate for free the first time. They were like, what do you want? I was like, I'll have the big fish, please. I can't. Chips, bread and butter and a pint of mushy peas, please. And so, like, this one was a freebie on them. But, like, I'd give him the book. I said, is Richard there? And Richard come out and I was like, oh, it's Paul from 50 Shades and there's the book and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, Matt, I just want to say thanks for that review, actually. It was really nice. He said, I've been following your page and I've seen you ripping these companies and I've seen my fucking shop come up and I was like, oh, God. He said, and I was so pleased that it was a positive review. He said, and I've had people coming in saying, we've seen 50 Shades of Birmingham review the fucking on the page, so we've come to try it. He said, so we've actually had a little bit of business off it, so I just want to say thanks. Well, obviously, all the staff that were in there, he must have went in and said, that's that geezer off 50 Shades of Birmingham, you make sure he's fucking chips are right, his fish is right, you fucking can't fuck this man up, man. And he proper looked after us to the point where, say, like, it's not even cheap to eat in there. For me, Tash and the three girls, probably cost us 50 quid for fish and chips. But you sat down in a restaurant, you've obviously had a couple of drinks there and whatever, and it's nice food and it's just nice. It's a nice restaurant. I don't mind paying for it. So, say if it comes to 50 quid, she come out and said, and look, I knew I weren't paying for it, but I said to her, can I have the bill? Because I thought I'd never go somewhere expecting not to pay for something. And she said, she come back out and said, Richard said it's on him. And I left like a fucking £40 tip or whatever for the girls, because actually they'd run around all night. So pretty much whatever I'd give him for the fish and chips, I give them and says, thanks ever so much. Your service is fantastic. Thanks for looking after us. Brilliant. Hopefully see you again. Next time we went in and I asked for the bill, he come out and said, oh, Simon said you get a 50% discount. So I was like, fucking buzzing, mate. We were on fish and chips on the daily, mate. Like, and then the cunt sold it to fucking Harry Ramsden's and it was shit.
Oh.
I thought we were going to go for a success story then.
I bet they didn't jot it down about the 50% discount at Harry fucking Ramsden's.
One second, I'm just looking at something I don't remember.
I'm just going through the. Oh, I do need to mention something. I did speak to chatting about this earlier, Paul, but we know we're on about India banning vaping last week.
Yeah.
Well, magically they've banned vaping, and the stocks have gone up by 2% in tobacco because the government fucking own the tobacco companies. So that's the reason they banned fucking vaping in fucking India.
No, but you know what I like about that, Tom? They've says, fuck you, you're not fucking encroaching on our fucking industry. Honestly, I appreciate the fact they're blatantly honest. And that's why, even when I smoked, and you see all this shit about, yes, we're pushing up the price of cigarettes because we want people to stop smoking. I'm like, listen, mate, I'm not a fucking rocket scientist, but you know, if you ain't got them fags in the shop, no cunt can't buy them. Take them out the shop, fucking burn them, right? And then no fucker can smoke and you'll save the world. And they're like, no, we can't do that, mate. We'll fucking lose billions. We're just trying to pretend that we're fucking looking after people. Stop cancer, and we stop having to buy all the tablets. If they stop buying all the tablets, we lose another revenue stream. So what we're doing, we're just going to pretend that we're trying to look after best people's interests, but we're going to take 10 quid off them for a fucking box of fags. We're going to get them hooked to fuck. When they're dying of cancer, the hospital's got to buy all the tablets off the pharma companies. We get double bubble off every cunt that smokes. Fucking jobs have been happy days. I'd rather them say that. Say, actually, you know what? We know that you're addicted. We're putting fags up to 20 quid a packet. That'll sort the men from the fucking boys. You either want to smoke or you don't. Because I genuinely have more respect from doing that. It used to bore my piss that they do all of this. Yeah, we're not allowed to sell 10 boxes anymore because those people that are only smoking 10 fags a day, we're 98% sure that anyone that buys 20 fags in the morning will finish the fucking box before they go to bed, and they'll buy another 20 tomorrow, and they'll double their fucking spend this year on cigarettes. That's it. Simple as. That's it. It's bullshit. That's what I fucking hate, all that underhand bollocks. So if India says, we're fucking not selling vape, only selling tobacco, I'm actually, I like the fact that they've said, you know what, fuck you, man. We own the companies. You ain't fucking about with our industry. That's the balls that does. So I'm all for someone being honest, mate, on that level.
Oh, look, I'm just going to hit on something before we finalise then. So we've got 15 minutes to go, and I want to just talk about the next show that's coming. It's in 6 weeks. All right? 6 weeks. We've got Expo coming up. Seeing as we've just had Manchester, what's everybody's expectations?
8 weeks away, Thomas.
8 weeks, is it? 8 weeks.
I can have a week of sleep in between.
8 weeks away, it means I'll properly start sorting my shit out in about 7 weeks. I'm determined, mate. Next Monday, I'm sorting my shit out. I'm sorting out everything I need for that stand is getting sorted and done. I can't have the stress of what I have every expo without fail.
What's the expectations then? Seeing as we've just been to Manchester, this is going to be the last show of the year. It's October, beginning of October. Is it bank holiday again? They do it.
It's end of October. I think this one is 26th to the 28th of October.
No more bank holidays, Thomas. The last bank holiday of our year is always in August, mate.
I don't know. I've not seen a bank holiday in about 6 years.
God, you have a long weekend.
I'm kidding. He's not that bad, everybody. He's not that bad.
The last weekend of October, so I think it's the 26th, 27th, 28th.
Yep.
And I know
what's the expectations?
Tasha's birthday the week before. So anyone that wants to bring cash gifts for a birthday the week after will have a little cheeky bucket on the stand.
What's the expectations for the show? Let's be realistic.
I'm expecting a busy show. I'm thinking there's a lot of people that didn't go to Manchester thinking, you know what, I've got Expo in 2 months, man. I've got time to get my kids back to school. I've got time to save up some money. I'm going to come. I don't know.
Sure, I really do. But sort of going back to a little bit just before then, going back to Manchester, I think the consumer needs to carry on putting their 2 pence in and getting behind these shows, because the only moan I really got about the weekend was the footfall. If all the big names are there, everybody's there, and the consumer's not there, nobody can really turn around and say it was a shit show because the consumer didn't turn up. So as long as the consumer sticks with the October and shows October Expo that they're about it, I think it'll give a little bit more confidence back again to sort of what needs to be done. Because obviously, I don't know whether Expo sets this benchmark or whatever the powers Expo have got over every other show, but people only seem to turn up to Expo. Maybe because it's the biggest in Europe. Possibly that is the reason. But I sort of feel like the footfall needs to be kept behind all the shows. That's my only worry, is if we don't see the footfall at this show, where the fuck are the shows going to be next year?
You know what, mate? If I knew that only the same amount of people were going to Manchester next year as Rockcombe this year, I'd still vend at that show personally. That's how I feel at this minute in time, genuinely. And I think for me, if Manchester becomes the indoor vape fest of the year, I'm happy with that. But I don't think that'll happen. I honestly think that next year people are going to go, fuck, I should have went. There's people that have said to me this week, I should have went, man. I knew I should have gone.
I'll tell you something. Once we start getting the footage out from this weekend, there's a lot of people that are going to be kicking themselves in the teeth because, you know, some of the stuff that the team and I captured on the video perspective was just immense. Like some of the opportunities that the video guys had, they were just like, wow, man. We had one of our guys, Leon, who was on the Saturday in the middle of the drift ring, and they had the drifters doing donuts around him. So much so that I was like, you know what, boys, I want to do this tomorrow. So we planned it out. So Sunday we did that, and we've got a project that should be coming to screen soon enough. I can't really talk about the vendor, but you'll know when it comes.
Yeah, I mean, I did genuinely have a wicked weekend. I'm always apprehensive about expos because my feeling is that over the last, this will be our May, October. This will be our 6th event. So 3 years in, 6 events. And for me, the buzz of expo has slightly declined on everyone. And I think there's like this big build-up prior to it. And everyone's like, fucking expos coming. And because it's so vast, you see so much negative stuff about it that it puts a down on it for everyone then. And when you've got that size hall, I mean, 4 halls deep they are at fucking Birmingham. It's a huge, I mean, you know yourself, Jack, just from going around there.
Mate, running rings around that thing, lose weight.
Vast event, it's huge. To the point where I've got back after a week of being there and says to some people, fucking hell, mate, I didn't even realise you were there. And I've walked around the cunts about 15 times. And, well, 15 times a day, probably.
Yeah.
Times 3 days, so fucking 45, 50, 60, 80 laps of that place. But even when I start walking around, I know where all my main pals are. And I make a special route. And I know if I go up there for a piss, after that, I'll go and see him. I'll go around the corner and see him. I'll skip that bit out because I don't know one up there. I've never even been in that corner. And every single show that we've done, so 5 shows in, there's still parts of that show that I've never even walked down because I know I don't know anyone up there and I don't need to go up there. But I could walk up there and find an absolute gem to stock in my shop.
Absolutely.
And I never ever do it. And the amount of time I spend standing about chatting shit to people, I could actually do one full lap of the whole event and walk up and down, know what I want to look at. Because me and Tash try and have a walk round at least once with no one talking to. It happens very rarely because actually I can't even go for a piss without getting stopped and spoke to, or I see someone that it's the first time I've seen them free, so I'll stop and speak to them. But I'm hoping that October is a good show, and it'd be nice to finish the year off with a really positive show, a bit more of an old school vibe going on. Tom and I have got an hour on stage Saturday and Sunday for Endless Banter.
So you're going to be recording that, Jatty?
Oh, wait.
We'll also be going live as well. We're going to go live with it like we did last year, and hopefully we'll have a bit more stability.
You're bringing a few more onions.
Even if we have to use a 4G iPad, we will go live with some more stability for Endless Banter, because if I can pull off what I've got in my head that we should be pulling off, it's going to be fucking fire, and it will be funny, and we'll do this. We're going to do the same thing both days because I just know it's going to be class. So I'm really, really hopeful of a cracking event that people can enjoy. And I still say to anyone that's never been to one, if you've got no money but you can afford to get there,
it's well worth your while, isn't it?
Lots of people that you only ever interact with on social media. people that you've probably inboxed when you've been in the shit and they've helped you. Someone that sent you a message saying, all right, mate, I've just seen your status. Everything okay? Is there anything I can do? They're the sort of people that you should be blessed about meeting and shaking hands with and having a chat. And I've made so many friends through this industry. And, well, I've made lots and lots and lots of acquaintances, people that I can stop. Even yourself, Jack, with respect, I'd never consider you a friend because I'd just be patronising you. But on Thursday, when I seen you setting up, we stopped, we had a chat, we shook hands, we spoke, how's things? Congratulations on dropping the juice line. Is it different from using your camera? But even that there, I didn't know you from Adam before.
That's it.
But the fact that I know I probably could have come over to you and says, oh, mate, could you give me 10 minutes to come out? I need to carry this and I can't do it on my own. And like you said, you're there struggling with your stand and two lads jump in and help you do that. For me, that is worth its weight in gold. I love the fact that we go to Expo and we have the hugs and the loves and the kisses and all of that stuff. Ultimately, we're there for business. I love the vibe at Manchester. I spoke to lots of people in Manchester this weekend that says, you know what, mate, I honestly don't give a shit what we take this weekend. I love this place. I love the vibe. I love how it is. I'd said to my guys right at the start, I'm not even gauging this event on what we take. Not interested. It cost us very little money by comparison to Ben there because Emil looked after us because he wanted us to be there. On that basis, I agreed that I'd cancel my holidays and we'd be there. And in fact, he showed us a bit of support by looking after us with the price of the stand. We showed him support by turning up with the team. We were there for the 4 days, done what we had to do, packed our shit up and fucked off on Sunday. And that it's just good for building relationships. I love it, I do. I love it. The thing that I hate is I come back from Expo every single time, whether it be the Manchester one we've just come back from, whether I come back from Vape Fest, whether I come back from Jam, no matter where we've come back from, I lie in bed on a Sunday night thinking, if we could carry that vibe on in the industry, just enough to reach the next Expo, and then it lights back up again, and it just peters off by the next Expo, and it lights back up again, I'd be a happy man. But it seems to go straight back down again within 2 weeks. Everyone's like, fuck Expo, man. I can't believe he's selling that tank for 24 quid and the recommended retail's 26.99. Fuck him. I'm going to burn his shop down. And everyone starts going all like back to business again. And it is a business, I get that. I'm not decrying anyone's business. Ultimately, they're there making money. I think the thing I miss is the days where we started this because we were passionate about vaping and we were gifted enough that we got into an industry that gave us all a good income. And we enjoyed it. I mean, I still do. I can't explain how I feel without saying like I'm just in it for the money, because I'm genuinely not. The money don't bother me one way or the other. If it started losing money, I'd stop it because I'm not stupid. But
definitely,
if our business got to the point where it was breaking even, but we were paying our 8 staff, I wouldn't shut the shop. That's the gospel truth, because actually their livelihoods rely on what our shops are doing.
Still making a difference.
And on that basis, I wouldn't shut the shop if we were breaking even, as long as the bills are paid and no one's knocking down my door for money. The minute it starts losing money, it's a different kettle of fish. But we're fortunate enough that we're not in that position at the moment. Business is still good. We're still making money. I'm still always looking at things we can do differently. How can we do different with Endless? We looked at the juice line. We've got hopefully another new juice line dropping in October at Expo. But I miss the days where everyone every day was passionate and loved getting up in the morning and doing what they do. There's days I get up now and I'm like, fuck's sake, man. Why is this drama kicking off? Why is that drama kicking off? And truth be told, I'm 9 times out of 10, I'm probably in the middle of half of that shit. Whether it be by default or because I've chose to jump in feet first, or because it's someone that I associate with or someone that's one of my pals. And as much as I can be vociferous and say my shit and clear my chest, I hate it. Genuinely don't enjoy that part of the industry. I hate the fact that it's got to such a point business-wise that people are stabbing people in the back and fucking people over for money, and not on back in the. I'm old school, genuinely. I'm 42, but actually I've got my old man's mentality, which is if you walk away from someone and shake their hand, you do what he says you're going to fucking do. And even if it's the wrong thing, if you've made the wrong decision, you stand by your decision and you fucking see it through, and then you have a think about it next time before shaking hands. There's too many of these people that'll shake your hand, smile at you in the face, walk off, and they'll fuck you as quick as they've done it. And I'm not that businessman. I'm not that desperate to have money in my bank that I'd fuck a friend or even a work colleague. And there's lots of people in this industry I consider work colleagues where we do business together. They buy off me, I buy off them. We've got shops local and we share stock and stuff. I'd never fuck someone like that just to get one over on them for money, because I'm not wired that way. And I just think if you're that desperate for money that you'd fuck a short or a long-term relationship up just to get one over on someone, he ain't the sort of person I want to do business with. That's just me.
Well, on that note, we're 3 minutes before the end of the show, and we've got to do Paul's status or Paul's quote of the week. There is a couple. The first one that I did like was, to anybody I ever did wrong, fuck you, you probably did something to me first and had it coming. And the second,
I stand by that one.
And the second one, I'm sorry, but I'm taking this, Paul. I'm taking this. I'm sick of people comparing Paul Harrison to God. I mean, he's cool and all that, but he's no Paul Harrison.
I gotta say, when you added me the other day and I went through your list,
no our secret on that one, Paul. All I'm saying is that was posted at Manchester, and I was pissing myself for about 20 minutes after I posted that. Just thought I'd let you know. So yeah, that's us this week. Thank everybody for tuning in, chatting. Thank you ever so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. We'll see you in October. Once again, thank you, Mr. PH. As always, you are a gent. As always, always looking suave, always looking cool. We love it.
Before we go there, I just want to give a big up and a shout out to Johnny from BH Vape. The guy's been banging up my phone ever since we've been sat here, and he's just been putting me into tears that I've had to hide from you lot. So big shout out to Johnny.
We are going to get, I have spoken to Johnny at Manchester. We are going to get him on the show in the next couple of weeks, hopefully. And I'm going to make sure him and Paul have some fucking fun because he's a fucking hilarious. So check in for the next couple of weeks. We're going to get Johnny on as well. But once again, thank you so much, Chatting, for joining us. Go check out Chatting's new juice. Salute for that, sir. Congratulations on that. And make sure you say hello to him at Expo as well. He will be walking around with a camera. Get your face in front of it, because we'll be in front of it. Because we'll be in front of it.
We want that banter.
And we will be back on the stage in October with Paul and his great fucking idea, because I know if this is pulled off, this is going to be one of the sickest things you've ever fucking seen. I promise you of that.
I want to know now. Are you not got?
I'm not even going to let you know, Jack.
I'm not telling anyone what we're doing until we get on stage. The only people that will know is one company, and that's because I have to use them to do what I'm doing.
Is that the video company?
No.
You're not going to get the idea. Right, guys, we're out of here. We'll see you next week, 8 o'clock. Remember to like and subscribe and share the post. Thank you so much, guys. See you next week. Peace out.
See you guys.